Hi everyone. I'm gonna give this a few minutes. We had some technical difficulties. I had to sort out, so I apologize for being a few minutes late. I have my mic as well. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a few minutes to notify. Like I said, I ended up, so I scheduled a YouTube live over a week ago, and I tried to actually just go live through that link that I had created, and it just wouldn't let me go live. So I had to delete that, start a new one, and a lot of people were waiting with the old link. So I'm just gonna give it a second. If people didn't have their bell notifications on, then they won't know that I'm going live right now. So I'm just gonna wait a minute and see if they'll find like the next new video to join. But yeah, we're a few minutes late. I'm normally punctual, so I apologize. I have something really exciting to talk about today, an exciting topic, very requested, and then I will be answering all of your questions, so you guys can just post any questions that you have into the chat, and I will answer as many as I can. I'm hoping to keep the live to about 20 minutes, so whatever I can answer in that 20 minutes, I will cover and do my best. Okay, so first of all, I hope everyone's been doing well. I have been so absent on here. I apologize. I have been very active on TikTok, on Instagram, but it's been very hard for me to film and edit videos for YouTube with a new little baby. So that's what the challenge has been. But don't worry, I'm never going anywhere. YouTube is still my place, my space. So I thought I would come and do a live and give attention to you followers here who are not following me on Instagram or TikTok or wherever else, and answer your questions because you guys are not seeing me as often here. So that's what the purpose of today is to just help as many of you as possible. And then with that, if you guys do want to be seeing daily content, lots of educational content, inspirational content around health and wellness, please follow me on either Instagram or TikTok. They're linked down below at the end of this live. That way you guys can keep up with me day to day until I'm able to come back and film more regularly on YouTube again. Okay, the first thing I want to do, and then I will get to all of your awesome questions, is talk about the difference between motivation and discipline. I'm going to keep this really short and sweet, and then we'll get to all the questions. So many of my clients, and for those of you who are new or maybe haven't been following me for a while, I'm a holistic nutritionist and homeopathic practitioner, and I specialize specifically, I work with all cases, but specifically autoimmune is where I focus. So I'm working with people who are very sick, very inflamed, who have had a chronic illness for a long period of time, and who have not been able to get relief. So these are the individuals that typically need to be making some pretty big lifestyle changes around health, around their diet, around their sleep and everything else. And so I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about how can we stick to eating so clean and saying no to foods that we love and want to enjoy, and how can we stick to going to bed at the right time and doing all of these things that are needed in order to reverse our autoimmune or the different health issues that we have. We know it's not easy to be healthy all the time and to avoid so many awesome foods that we love and all these things, or to take our supplements regularly. So how can we stick to it? How do we make this a lifestyle and not just do it for a little bit and then fall off track and then lose all of that momentum? So that's what I want to touch on. I filmed an awesome video today. I thought it was pretty fantastic going into some really inspirational information on this, and then I was not able to upload it to TikTok or Instagram because it was glitching. So I will try to get that out, and a lot of that information that I'm sharing there, I'll just kind of spit out here just in little bits. So if you are looking to stick on a healthy path, you cannot rely strictly on just motivation. Motivation is not lasting. So if we are all relying on motivation to eat healthy, to stick to our supplements and to go to sleep at the right time and to avoid, toxins and things like that, we are not going to succeed. We will all fail. And the reason why is because motivation does not stick. It does not last. This is a huge reason why I'm so against New Year's resolutions, is because you're kind of going off that motivation. It's a new year, new me. I'm going to do this, this, and that. And then within a week or two, or maybe a month, we fall off track and we give up because we lost that motivation. So if you are relying on motivation, you are not going to, unfortunately, succeed in reversing your health issues and in leading a healthy lifestyle, because again, it fades. The motivation fades. So we want discipline instead. We want to make this lifestyle, these health changes, these removing certain foods, things like that. We need to have discipline. We don't want to just go follow a bunch of health accounts on Instagram and say, oh, I'm inspired to eat healthy, because that's not going to last. You're eventually going to miss the old foods you were eating, and you're going to binge or fall off track. If you are disciplined, if you learn discipline, doesn't matter what's around you distracting you. You have your eyes or your mind focused on your goal, which is eating healthy, taking your supplements, doing those kinds of things. And so you will stick to it no matter what, even if you're not motivated, even on the days where you don't want to work out or eat well or do whatever, you are going to stick to it because you have that discipline and you now have that ritual or habit in place. So it is important for us to establish discipline. And I think I just lost a connection. Just gonna give it a sec here. Okay, sorry if I'm glitching. I'm actually just gonna open the door and see if I can get a little bit more Wi-Fi. Hold on one sec. Okay, I hope that works so it doesn't glitch again. Okay, so just what I was saying, and then I'll get to your questions. How do we then get disciplined? If we don't want to be relying on motivation, then how can we tell ourselves, okay, I'm disciplined and I'm gonna stick to a healthy lifestyle? And I don't want to be delusional and say it's easy, like even for me to say I'm never going to have gluten, or I am not going to go and eat these foods or those foods because they're not healthy, or I'm not going to drink alcohol, and I'm going to go to bed at this time, and I'm going to work out every single day. It is hard. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So again, this is where discipline comes in. So how do we get disciplined? You need one thing to start, just one thing. If you have this one thing, you are well on your way to sticking to this lifestyle, this routine. And that is, you have to want it bad enough. I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but imagine, I'll use myself as an example because this is exactly what happened where, sorry, I'm a little out of focus now. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. So I, for those of you who don't know, was covered head to toe in psoriasis. You can find on my Instagram how I used to be, even on my old YouTube videos. Complete rash, my whole body. It was excruciating, it was embarrassing, etc. I went from eating every possible junk food and hating anything healthy and drinking and all that stuff to completely stopping it all, almost cold turkey, and completely shifting my lifestyle. And the one thing that I had that I didn't do motivation, I wasn't motivated. The one thing that I had to get me to just give it all up and stick to a protocol and a regime was I needed it bad enough. I was so sick of looking that way when I was young. I was so sick of the pain, the itching, the uncomfortableness. And so I said, I am done. I will do whatever it takes to get rid of this rash, to get rid of the psoriasis, to get rid of my autoimmune, my PCOS. I was so sick of my IBS symptoms, not being able to go anywhere because of how bad my IBS was. So that was my discipline. I wanted it so bad that I said, I am done with excuses. I'm done just, flip-flopping. And so cut everything out. And that is what kept me on the path. And to this day, I have stayed on my path. I have not wavered. I have not fallen off track. I have stuck with it because I know if I go back to my old way of living, which I don't want to anymore, I genuinely love leading this lifestyle, but if I were to go back, I would end up with all the old issues that I had. So that's my discipline now. It's become a habit. It's become a ritual to wake up and work out and then come home and eat healthy all day and then go to bed at a good time. And it's become a lifestyle that I love and crave. So it was discipline in the beginning. Now it's a habit or a ritual. So that's all you need, honestly. You have to want it bad enough. If you're at a point, last point here, and then I promise we'll get to the questions. If you are at a point where you are not desperate enough. So if you are like, I don't love the way I look, or maybe I don't feel the best, but I'm not horrible, so I'm fine kind of staying the way I am, you're probably, unfortunately, not going to be able to stick to a health plan long term. So you have to want it. You have to get yourself to a point where you are like, no, I don't want to feel this way, or I don't want to look a certain way. I want to go work on my health and lose some weight or whatever your goal is. Then if you want it bad enough, that's where the discipline comes in. So anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. I have a lot more content on this coming out once I can upload it. You just don't want to rely on motivation. It will go away and you will just be like everyone else, where you kind of try to reach your goals for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a couple months, and then you fall off and give up. And the difference between people who succeed, whether it's with health, finances, fitness, whatever, and people who don't, people who stay here and people who go up and up and up, are the ones who, when they get to a point where they've lost the motivation and they don't want to continue with whatever they've been doing, they push through because of the discipline, and because it's become a habit or a ritual, they've pushed through, and they are the ones that, the top 1% that are succeeding, that are improving their life, their health, and then everyone else just kind of stays here because they're relying on motivation, they don't have that discipline. So that's it. I hope that helps, guys. I hope this helps explain a little bit more on how you can stick to something. It doesn't even have to be health related. It can be a relationship or anything. And then how you can get to a point where it's no longer something you hate. It becomes something you love because you've been doing it for so long and you end up needing it and relying on it. All right, so let's get to your questions. I'm just going to go to the top and scroll. Okay, so we're going to start with Alicia. My 16-month-old has a disability that requires him to have many surgeries. He has already had 2 and has been under anesthesia 3 times as of today. Would you recommend detoxing him? And if so, how? What would be like general recommendation? I want him to be his healthiest, but these surgeries are necessary and therefore he'll be on painkillers the whole 9. Okay, so I can answer this to a certain degree, Alicia. I'm not able to give you certain things, and I'll explain. So yes, anytime any human, doesn't matter how old, anytime anyone, especially the younger you are actually, because your liver, your kidneys are so much smaller, they go through more damage. So anyone who goes through surgeries, who's on antibiotics, painkillers, anesthesia, anything like that, you do want to detox. It doesn't even have to be a super crazy strong one, but it's a good idea to eliminate, because it just prevents you starting off your life with already some congestion and some strain on our, sorry, it's blurry again, on our elimination organs. If you were to start off life with stressed system already, that makes you more susceptible to developing different health issues, eczema, asthma, whatever it may be, just any health issues. So it is a good idea to address it. So I love that your mind is there and thinking about that. Now, the challenge is, it gets a little bit difficult when you're dealing with babies and what you can do, because obviously they can't take certain supplements. I don't usually recommend herbs for kids except for a few, and the dosaging is different. They can't take certain supplements, it has to go through food or through a bottle, so it does become a challenge. I also can't legally give very specific recommendations without them signing consent forms and being a client and the whole thing. But I will do my best to explain some things to you, and hopefully you can kind of take this information, do a little bit more research on your own, or maybe reach out to a practitioner as well. What I recommend is homeopathics. There are some beautiful ones out there. And the one that gets chosen depends on a lot of factors. It depends on your child's temperament, on your child's symptoms, on your child's health history, even things like their vaccine history, all kinds of stuff. It just, when you're dealing with homeopathics, one homeopathic could be given to somebody who has eczema, and then to somebody else who has liver failure, and then to someone else who has maybe cancer. One remedy can be used for a host of things, and it's not because it treats the condition, it's because it's working on treating the constitution of the person. So that's how homeopathy works, is you take the person's constitution and choose the remedy, and whatever disease or condition or issue they have gets corrected by rebalancing the constitution. So I hope that makes sense. So I can't give you a specific until I know more, but there is one remedy I will share with you. It's called Live Gen. So it's from Genestra. I'll see if I can comment. I don't know if they let me comment or not. Let's see here. No, I can't actually post a message. So I will try to remember to link it in the description after this live, but it's from Genestra, and the supplement is LIV-GEN. So Live Gen. Now, do not give this to your child unless you confirm with their practitioner. Again, for legal purposes, I want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence. But this is one I would consider just giving a drop or 2 a day, and it helps to just drain the liver and kidneys a little bit. You can also look into, again, pairing it with some good homeopathics. And for kids specifically, I really like working on the immune system if they have been through surgeries or anything that requires repairing. The immune system has to repair everything after surgery. And if we leave our immune system exhausted and weakened, then we're more susceptible to ear infections and different chronic illnesses or recurring sicknesses and things like that. So for the immune system side, there's a supplement from Genestra called ImmuGen. So IMU-GEN. And this is what I like to use for immune support. Again, check with your child's doctor, pediatrician, whoever you're working with before supplementing, because it might not be appropriate for them. So just confirm and check the ingredients. But those two are something I could say start with, but it's not going to give you a full cleanse unless you pair other homeopathics and stuff with it. So it could be a starting point, but I would say do a little bit more research or reach out to someone if you want to be doing a full, proper, and safe cleanse. I hope that helps. Okay. This is from iNature. I hope I'm saying this right. Is Crystal Geyser good water? I'm hearing conflicting reports. So I actually am not familiar with this. I'm going to be honest. I can look into it after this video. But as of right now, I can't comment because I do not know what that is. And just reading Marissa's comments, when I got to the point where I was so sick and couldn't function is unfortunately when I made healthy living a lifestyle. Yeah, me too. I had to be so sick and so uncomfortable until I actually was like, all right, let's do this. So totally get it. What are your thoughts on cafe au lait spots? My niece has them on her abdomen. I don't know if you meant to say cafe au lait or maybe I just don't know what that is. My niece has them on her abdomen and arms, legs, and just went through genetic testing to see if they will form into tumors one day. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Marissa. Maybe you can go into a little bit more detail in the comments. Okay. Do you have any tips on teeth grinding? Oh, I like this question. I don't like using mouth guards. Okay. Yes, so really quick. Teeth grinding, two things. Parasites, believe it or not, they actually affect the nervous system and they're more active at night. So parasites are more active at night, which triggers like the inflammation and the toxins released affects our neurosystem. So it triggers issues within our nervous system, causing tension. So that's where the teeth grinding could be from. So I would consider a parasite cleanse. I have done this with so many clients and their grinding has stopped. The second thing is looking at your stress levels and anxiety levels before going to bed. So for that, again, this is just check with your practitioner, reach out to someone because I obviously don't know your health history, your case. I'm just giving some ideas or examples, not saying this is specifically for you, but what I like to do when someone has any kind of anxiety or tension is I always recommend working on the adrenal system and lowering your nervous system activation. So a couple supplements I would say would be adaptogens. You can look into using something like astragalus, rhodiola, ashwagandha. Lemon balm is one of my favorites. It's so calming. It's like a nervous system calmant. So adaptogens, you can use a combination of those or just one. I also would then recommend cortisol calm from Pure Encapsulations. It's literally cortisol and then calm. It's a beautiful supplement. I have my clients usually do 2 to 3 capsules an hour before bed to kind of calm them down. There's also a supplement from Genestra. Again, it's Calm Gen, so it's that whole phytogen line. It's CALM-GEN, and Calm Gen, if you can access this depending where you live, is completely like almost like a sedating supplement. It's not going to actually sedate you. It's completely safe, but it's just very calming. So it brings a sense of calm to the system. So if you're using a couple of these things or a combination, you might be able to really calm the nervous system down, and that might reduce your grinding. Lastly, you can look into using CBD oil if you have not looked into it already. I'm a fan personally. I use Evo Hemp. It's my go-to. I will link it in the description box below. I have a discount code. I want to say it's Marla's Healthy Life or Marla's Healthy Life 20. I don't remember which one, but you can try either if you're interested. I don't get any commission. It's just for you guys from the company, but it's my favorite. It's organic CBD oil and they have beautiful blends. You can get like the sleep blend, which is really relaxing as well. So those are my recommendations, and hopefully something works. Okay, this one is on my recommendation for C-section recovery. I've been taking arnica as well as staph sangria. No major concerns, just want to help. Yeah, okay, so C-section recovery, immune system. Whenever, again, you have a surgery, your body has to repair something, it's all on the immune system. So I recommend doing TH1 immune support from Pure Encapsulations. Again, if you can access this, depending where you live, TH1 support from Pure Encapsulations is a beautiful supplement. It has berberine and other compounds that boost the TH1 side of the immune system. Great for autoimmune as well. You can also look into doing things like vitamin E. vitamin A or retinol, and B complex and magnesium, and zinc, which are all used to repair skin, to repair the immune system. I personally am a huge fan of N-acetylcysteine as well. Not appropriate for everybody, so check with your practitioner before supplementing with NAC, but N-acetylcysteine is a beautiful supplement to help support the repairing of different processes in the body. So those are my go-to. Lastly, a supplement from Genestra called T-Lip, which is TLIP. Essentially, it's just grass-fed bovine liver. So you can use any brand as long as it is a good grass-fed, clean brand. Grass-fed liver is going to have a lot of fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, all those iron, B vitamins. So all of those beautiful things in it to help give your body enough nutrition to recover. Also, if you've had a C-section, you want to be supporting yourself postpartum. So a good multivitamin or prenatal, a good fish oil is recommended as well, as that will really help your immune system and to repair. I hope that helps. And probiotics as well. Okay, Marissa, correct spelling. Yeah, I haven't heard of those spots, so I will look into them. Yeah, interesting. I will look into it and see if I can maybe do a post on it once I do. I don't know why this keeps getting so blurry, guys. I'm sorry. What's the best spring water to drink? I don't know. I mean, for me, I just filter everything, even bottled water. So I couldn't say the best spring water. At least where I live in Canada, we have like no good springs here. It's all just bad lakes. So yeah, I would filter everything. I'm not familiar outside of Canada, some good springs, unfortunately. That might be something to research, but I personally just filter everything. I don't trust any water these days. Everything's contaminated, unfortunately. So unless you can go up to a really pure spring yourself and get water, I wouldn't trust it, especially if it's been in plastic bottles or anything like that. Okay, April says, hi, are there any vitamins or supplements that can give you an appetite? Yeah, interesting. Okay, so again, when you're working holistically, you don't treat the symptom directly. You treat the issue, the underlying issue, and that improves the symptom. So it depends why you have a loss of appetite. It could be a hormonal imbalance. A lot of times your hunger hormones are disrupted, and it could come from so many things. It could be a neurological imbalance, so maybe a lot of stress or neuroinflammation. Could be like from a concussion or something like that. So there's so many things that can cause it, and depending what's causing it is what remedy you would want to take to support the root, and then that symptom of loss of appetite would improve. So I don't know if I can give you a direct recommendation. A lot of times the supplement 5-HTP, which is not appropriate for everybody, but check with your doctor. The 5-HTP supplement helps to stabilize like healthy neurotransmitter output, so could help improve your appetite. That might be something to look into. And then green tea. So you could do either like a green tea extract, like EGCG, or just drink like matcha that quickens the metabolic rate in your system, so it makes you hungrier. So that could also help. But aside from that, yeah, I can't really give recommendations without knowing like your specific unique root cause of the loss of appetite, and then could maybe give some more insight from there. So maybe before I continue answering questions, I'll get to everyone else's shortly. As far as questions go, so I get a lot of really good ones that I can't like really answer through social media because I always need more context and more information. I have a membership platform, holisticspring.org. I'll link it down below when this live is done, but it's in all of my YouTube videos in the description. And I would love to see you guys there. There is a small monthly fee that literally just covers the operation costs of the website. Like that is it. But you get exclusive videos, blog posts, quizzes, protocols, ebook downloads, forums to ask me any questions, and so much more. And it's literally, you get access to me 24/7. I'm the only one that runs it. I answer every single question. And it's nice because in the forums, you guys can ask me questions like this, but give me way more information on your health history and stuff. And then I can give you way more information back on things you can do. So it's like such a small fee, but it gives you access to a holistic practitioner literally 24/7. Plus I have so many videos and thousands of posts and content that has never been shared anywhere else. And the last thing is that it's all censorship free. So I always have to be careful what I say on YouTube or what I say on Instagram and things like that, so I don't get censored. So I leave a lot of good information out, but I just blurt it all out there because it's my platform, it's my site. So there's so much to learn and utilize on that site. I would love to have you there. You can cancel anytime if you hate it, if it's not your vibe. So it's really nice because there's no hidden fees or you're not locked into anything. It's literally just a small fee to help us run and keep the site up to date. And then you get help from me all the time. So I would love to see you there if that's something that interests you. Again, holisticspring.org. Okay. Going into what do you do to cure ulcerative colitis? So you can't cure any chronic illness. You can go into remission, but then you'd have to do and maintain certain things in order to prevent the condition from returning. So the same thing goes with psoriasis or eczema and all those other chronic illnesses. They will tend to come back if you fall off track. So just want to clarify that. But what can you do to improve it? I actually have a lot of content on holisticspring.org on this, but I'll give you a little bit of information. Again, everyone's a little bit different, so this might not work for everyone across the board. But typically with ulcerative colitis, there is obviously, first of all, a ton of inflammation. So my first step, whenever someone comes to me with UC, we have to work on inflammation first. I give them remedies that will calm the inflammation in the gut, and then we start working on what's causing the inflammation. So first we just lower the inflammation to give them a little bit of relief. Then we say, well, why are you so inflamed? Let's fix that. So step one, something like slippery elm, aloe vera gel, gelatin, L-glutamine, really anti-inflammatory, even marshmallow root, really anti-inflammatory remedies or herbs is what I would recommend, whether it's through supplement or tea form or food form, taking these to just cool and calm down inflammation. The next step is then to start usually at ridding the body of pathogens. So one of the biggest things that causes gut inflammation is pathogens in the gut. So I would start a very gentle pathogen cleanse and slowly increase the intensity as the person's gut gets stronger. At the same time, I would do a little bit of liver support as well. And then also immune modulation. So typically if there is some kind of gut inflammation, you're dealing with a lot of Th17 activation or dominance and Th2 dominance. So I would recommend things like perilla, curcumin, berberine, glutathione to kind of help quiet down all that inflammation from the inflammatory side of the immune system and then upregulate the good side of the immune system that's going to help us fight that inflammation. Of course, there's a lot more to it. I incorporate a lot of homeopathics, which work so beautifully at repairing the gut and soothing it. But that's a good starting point, is just first shut down inflammation, then start getting rid of what's causing the inflammation. Not just a pathogen cleanse, but a diet cleanse as well. You've got to cut out anything that is inflammatory, period. Whether or not you are sensitive to it, if it causes inflammation, if it's an inflammatory food, it has to go. So gluten, dairy, sugar, nightshades, inflammatory oils like canola, sunflower, etc., soy, corn, alcohol, yeast, peanuts, the list goes on. So there's a lot to avoid and start working on cutting out, but I would say definitely gluten, dairy, sugar is the top, and if there's any alcohol, cut that out as well, and then slowly start going from there to the more smaller food groups or food items. But that's a starting point. I hope that helps. Once your gut gets strong enough and improves, that's where we can start to do a lot more work on repairing the gut, replacing with good probiotics, things like that. Alicia, I always appreciate your message, your comments, your testimony. I so appreciate you. I loved working with you, and I think about you all the time, just so you know. And I really appreciate always when you're messaging me or commenting on my social media, my Instagram. You're so sweet, and I am so happy to hear that you have your sweet 3 little boys. I hope life is good, and I'm so glad you're a mom. So thank you so much for all the support and the love and trusting me with your health. Are floaters in the eyes due to autoimmune? This can be due to a lot of stuff, actually. Could be autoimmune. Like a lot of times people who have Sjogren's or something will develop this, but there's a lot of things. I always like to start by looking at, again, the whole health history, figuring out what's going on, and then maybe that will help explain why there's floaters in the eye. One thing is that people who are very inflamed or who have had a long period of inflammation, you lose your antioxidant status. So you start to lose the protection for your eyes. Our eyes need a lot of antioxidants to keep them healthy, functioning well, strong, protect our lenses, all of that. And so if you've ever had a high level of inflammation, I would highly recommend hopping onto antioxidants because you want to protect your eyes. Antioxidants would be things like typical vitamin C, but beyond that, I would recommend everyone does bioflavonoids. So there's a supplement from Genestra. This is the brand I use because I just love how clean and pure their products are. But Genestra has what it's called ascorbyl C plus bioflavonoids. So you're going to get the vitamin C with the bioflavonoids, and that's what we need to protect our eyes. You can also do things like vitamin E, vitamin A, or retinol if you need that to start protecting the eyes. But essentially, you need to get circulation to the eyes as well. Like I had a client, and she worked with me for a long time with her thyroid and stuff. And then randomly she developed floaters in her eyes. And we did like a protocol to improve her circulation through the cardiovascular system. We kind of cleaned out the arteries, improved her atherosclerosis, and all the floaters in the eyes went away, and her vision improved. And one of the things we did, aside from working on circulation, was also giving her a remedy, again from Genestra, called OcuGen, so OCU-GEN. So for the ocular system, the eyes. And we had her do it, I think, for like 4 or 5 months straight. Like she just did this remedy so consistently for 4 to 5 months. And the whole point of that remedy is it gives you the bioflavonoids and it gives you that nutrition for the eyes, and that really improved her vision. So that might be something to look into. But yeah, really, floaters can be caused by a lot of things depending on what your health history is like. I can't say for sure if it would be autoimmune or not. It would really depend. Okay. I'm just clicking on, there's a couple messages that weren't coming through. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to let it show me the message. Okay, sorry. I'm going to be ending the live in about 5 minutes. So if you guys have any last minute questions, post them. Feel free to post them, and then I'll be ending this. Okay, so Alicia also asked, broccoli really hurts my mom's stomach when she eats it. Do you know why? Yeah, cruciferous vegetables are high in sulfur, so a good thing, but they're actually high in sulforaphane. So it's a good thing, but if you have bad gut health or poor stomach acid secretion, poor liver enzyme secretion, you're going to have a hard time breaking them down. So typically, it's very common for people who have dysbiosis and a poor digestive system to bloat from cruciferous vegetables. If they make you bloat, there's nothing else to do but just avoid them for a period of time, or try taking them with enzymes. But you want to get to the root of why the bloating is there. Usually clearing out pathogens and then doing a liver detox so your liver can start releasing enzymes better is the way to go. And then you can have everything usually. A testimony, but coming from myself, and many clients have had this as well, but I used to not be able to eat any eggs, doesn't matter how they were cooked, any greens or any raw vegetables, like period. Like I couldn't even have a little piece of a cucumber without severe excruciating bloating. After I worked at the time with my practitioner, we did a lot of liver drainage. So I fixed my liver, my body was able to secrete more enzymes again. I cleaned out the pathogens from the gut, repaired the gut lining. Now I eat, and for years, eggs in any form and all the vegetables raw. I can do like huge salads and not a speck of bloating. Like I never have bloating ever, really, unless I ate something I shouldn't have. So it's so great, and you can get to that point. But yeah, it's just finding the root of the issue and then repairing that. Does B. propolis and monolaurin affect good gut bacteria? So they actually can benefit. I'm always careful though. So people who take B. propolis a lot of times can actually activate their immune system in a way that can actually affect their symptoms in a bad way. Not that the item or like B. propolis is not good. It's great for the immune system, but when and I don't know, April, at all if this is like, if you have autoimmune or anything, but I'm just kind of sharing this information for people who do in case they're curious. So it's great for the immune system. It's great for good gut health. It actually is great for all that. But if you have, your immune system is overactive on the inflammatory side, so if you're like Th2 dominant, you want to be careful with stimulating the immune system. And a lot of people, when we are looking at improving our health, we just look at a remedy and it'll say boost the immune system. And we're thinking, yay, that's a good thing. But we want to know which side it's boosting. B propolis has that effect to actually boost the Th2 side. So if you have an autoimmune or an inflammatory condition and you are Th2 dominant, you want to be careful with boosting it more than it already is, because we should be bringing it down. If you boost it too high, you can actually end up with elevated histamine more than you might already have. This can, of course, then affect the gut in a negative way. So in general, the supplement's great, but you just want to be careful how you're using it and what condition you have. So it's, again, not appropriate for everyone. Just like echinacea is a beautiful herb and is used for so many benefits and amazing things. But if you have autoimmune, like, you just want to steer clear of that. Same thing with B propolis. So yeah, it depends specifically what the context is. Typically, it absolutely is great for good gut bacteria unless you already have an imbalanced immune system. In that case, you want to be careful taking it. I don't know if that answered your question or not. Okay, I'm in remission for 2 years. What do you recommend to improve my immune system? Okay, so this, again, typically I would need more context, but what I always will tell my clients, once you're in remission and you're feeling really good, the best thing is to use food as medicine. We like to a lot of times think about our diet, our supplements, what can we take, but really it should start with our diet. Every single day, you should be flooding your body with 3 things. Dark leafy greens, which give your body a lot of the micronutrients that it needs to have a proper functioning immune system. With protein, we cannot repair anything or produce any immune cells if we are not consuming enough protein. So getting in good quality protein, I always like to say about 0.75 grams of protein per pound. So if you weigh 120 pounds, you want about 110-ish grams of protein a day. If you weigh 160, you're probably aiming for around 140 minimum. You can go higher if you work out. So a lot of people are not hitting their protein goals, and then they actually have a weakened immune system as a result of that. So lots of dark greens, even things like broccoli rabe, dandelion, Swiss chard. It doesn't just need to be spinach, okay? You want to go beyond that and get better greens. And then the third thing is soluble fiber. This is so underrated, and a lot of people think fiber is bad for you. It is not. It is 100% needed to keep the gut healthy, clean, and strong. It also contains lignans, which support the immune system. But my favorite thing with soluble fiber, like flax or chia seeds, is that it scrapes the colon, so it prevents biofilms from forming as quickly. It's scraping everything constantly to prevent things from sticking to the gut wall that will cause histamine and activate the immune system. So start with that. Above and beyond that, medicinal mushrooms are like, I have an obsession with medicinal mushrooms because of their immunomodulatory effects, because they are so effective at regulating blood sugar and just so much more. So my go-to would be chaga and reishi medicinal mushrooms. I take them several times a week, so do my kids. So that's something you can maybe add in if you're not. And then I love doing things a couple times a week, like ginger shots, which are great for the immune system. It'll help to boost your overall like circulation, your lymphatic drainage, but at the same time, give your immune system ginger, which is a Th1 supporting herb. So those are some things you can do. If you want to look into doing some supplements, I really think the best thing would just be to support your gut with some probiotics. Unless you have certain symptoms you're working on, you really don't need to supplement for the most part. So that's where I would kind of leave things for now. I hope that helps. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the video here because it's 40 minutes. It's double what I was intending. So I think I'll stop it here, but I will have more lives. And like I said, I am posting content daily to my TikTok and Instagram, and I would love for you to join me there if you have not already. So make sure you check the description. Once I post this, I'll link everything with all of my socials as well. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm sorry I haven't been as active here. This channel is not going anywhere. I just need my life to slow down a little. I need baby to grow up a little bit so I have a little more free time, and then I'll be back here sharing more content with you guys more regularly. But thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.